Good morning, class. It's the Teaching Today PodClass with your hosts, Jeremiah
and Kristan.
And we're back today in the studio. It's been a little bit of time since we've been sitting down and just wanted to touch base with you with all the stuff that we've been winning. All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Oh, I love it. It feels good to win.
Yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks since school started. We had done an episode with Dr. Jara. And at the same time, there was negotiations going on. We decided after there was some hiccup with making sure that the educators who were entitled to that the column movement would get paid. They didn't want to do that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit here. But we decided to hold off on releasing that episode. But good news, provided there's no further hiccups. We're looking at next week to hopefully finally release that episode to y'all. So we're very excited about that.
Yes, very much.
So, Kristan, you are on negotiations. Kind of run us back through the last couple of weeks and let us know what's going on and what we can expect from the coming weeks here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I did have the privilege of sitting on the negotiations committee with some fellow educators as well as our fearless leader, John Valardita, who is, I will tell you what, and I said this yesterday when we did our podcast just to get some information out there, is it was very, very amazing to watch him work and to literally work these people over on CCSD's side of negotiations, because they would come back and they would, not want to move on any of the things that we have asked for. And we pretty much, we held our stance and said, this is what we want. And it was wild to actually witness and John and on all the information that he would give them and the questions that he would ask them, and they would kind of stumble on their answers and, we got to get back to you on that. So it was really cool to witness this. But just to kind of rewind and talk about, once upon a time back in June, we actually, I think that was when we had our first meeting. I remember it was being over summer break. And, we originally said that we wanted the 3% salary, schedule overhaul. We wanted the 2% for the two-step increases. We wanted the 4% for the health insurance and the column. And, it was really interesting to watch CCSD try to give us pushback on even the things that the governor had allocated for us. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Governor Sisolak was a very big ally of ours. And so when it came down to, towards the end of negotiations, that day, it was the final day that I had gone up there and I had gotten called out of class. Mm-hmm. I had to take a half day. And we went up there expecting the least, not even, expecting anything to be done. We were probably, going into, mediation or arbitration or something along those lines. And for the district to come back, they gave us 2 pieces of paper. The first one, it was everything that we asked for originally, but the only thing that they were giving us a hard time was the column movements. They said, well, we will give a one-time lump sum payment of $6,000. And we said, absolutely not.
And don't forget, it was a one-time payment if they could find the money to do it.
Yes, and it sunsets. Yeah, and they actually had a sunset date on it, which pretty much means, for anybody who's not certain about that, but it pretty much means that if they don't find the money, then if it by a certain date, then they don't have to pay it. Yeah. So we were kind of like, okay, and John, he said, give us a minute, and so we talked about it, and then we looked at the second scope of things, and it was everything we asked for. It was included. The column advancement was including for next year that we have to submit by, what's that sweet spot? I think it's August. I want to say it's August 30th. I want to say 2020, August 30th, 2020. Okay. And they had,
good to know.
Yeah. And they had said that they would provide that funding, and there was no stipulations, no sunset date. So I found that to be very weird, Jeremiah, because how do you have the first one? Maybe because it was a little bit more, they thought we'd jump on the idea of it. But my biggest thing, and I still feel like I don't have a clear answer on this, where did the money come from? Because Kyla Gaylor asked the day before this, was all said and done and we came to that tentative agreement, and she straight up asked him, where is the money, or where do you guys have the money? And he said, no. And he said, it's about contracts, and we don't, we're just trying, to cover ourselves, and, we appreciate them doing the work, but They said they didn't have the money, but then miraculously the next day they came in with that offer, and we came to an agreement.
It's so funny, because I did watch the press conference live, and they started talking about how their investments were doing well. I'm like, I think I've been watching the Dow Jones drop about 600 points.
Right.
But hey, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth at this point. I think they're saying they're gonna pony up the dough. Go for it.
Yes, and that was one of the things that I will say the day before, I think it was like that Tuesday, we had went in, and it was another half day that I had to go out and sit with our negotiations committee, and we had gone through all the financials, and I really truly believe that's what kind of like set the tone for what was going to happen, because John was asking some very hard questions to Mr. Gowdy, Jason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jason. And he seemed to express that they were going to have some funds in their ending balance, and it was, technically up for bargaining. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of really what opened up that door. But I'm really appreciative. So after we came to that deal, we ended up, Dr. Jara came down from his office from the 4th floor, and he had asked that we immediately put out a press release so that way people can kind of get, take a breath, because, we were really pushing close to that September 10th date. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what, with the people that were there on that Liberty rally, I feel like we would have, if it would have gotten to that, it would have been really it would have been just awful for the school district. I hope if you haven't listened to it yet, we did we got a little setup, and we were able to record a bunch of interviews, and it was a crazy night. There was over 1,200 educators and members of the community, support staff that came out, and it was just a sea of red. It was really remarkable. And they filled up the theater, they filled up the cafeteria, they filled up the lecture halls. It was a madhouse. Mm-hmm. The meeting got started, I guess, with this really crazy lots of chanting going on in there.
And then the trustee Brooks, making some I'll say inappropriate, or at least displaced comments.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Displaced. Yeah, that's a good word to use. Yes.
And so if you haven't listened to that, check it out. It's really kind of cool, and it feels really alive when you listen to it. So
yes.
But we were rip and ready to go for that September 10th.
Absolutely.
And now to look back on it, was it a week ago? It's a week.
It's been
a week.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so in that vein of things coming up, they're looking at submitting this contract to the Board of Trustees on the 12th. And there was a podcast that you and John did the other day that kind of explains this, but just in case you haven't heard that one, we'll talk about it here. On the 10th, you're going to get some kind of link.
Yes.
So it'll be an email link to a survey if you're a member of CCEA. Mm-hmm. And you'll be able to say, yes, I like this contract, or no, we don't see any reason why you wouldn't at this point. But
it really does. It values and what I like about this too, Jeremiah, is it's not leaving anybody out. Like literally everybody is getting some type of financial increase, as well as your increase to your health insurance as well. But you look at it, even that 3%. The
3%, and I think a lot of people are misunderstanding what the 3% is. Mm-hmm. It's not something that's awarded, like
a one-time bonus or anything like that.
It's going to change the pay scale. So from $40,630 some dollars, I think is A1 or 1A, I don't know. If I was looking at it, I could say it, but I'm not looking at it. So it'll add 3% to that, and every location on the pay scale gets 3% to what it currently is. Absolutely. And that's regardless if you started on August 1st of this year, or if you've been here for 30 plus years. You're going to get that 3% included. So kind of recoup that little bit we lost on PERS.
With the PERS, the 0.6, and some change. And that's the other thing is this contract was I think John Vallardita said it was $189 million or something like that. Yeah. That's probably one of the biggest contracts that has ever been done, I believe, in CCSD. I could be very well wrong with that, but $189 million is not just a drop in the hat. That's a pretty significant amount. So I'm very thankful that we, have a union behind us like that. It's incredible.
So September 10th, look out in your mailboxes. Here's the big thing, guys. If you have been a member for a while, and you move and things get by the wayside, sometimes you forget to change your address. Make sure you call the office, CCA office, and make sure your information's up to date. Because I know it's easy for me and Kristan, because we're here all the
a lot.
time. But it's easy to forget that this doesn't necessarily get updated. So if you want to make sure you get those emails and stuff, then give them a call and make sure that they have your correct information. Because you'd be surprised how often it's out of date. So September 10th, email survey or vote. I don't know what they want to term it, but whatever it is, approve the contract. Then it'll hopefully, or provided there's nobody complaining.
Can't imagine there's gonna be any issues.
But should it go, it'll go to the, whoops, I'm throwing stuff around here. It'll go to the school board trustees on Thursday the 12th, and hopefully we will get that money. They said they're trying to expedite that as quickly as possible. So obviously we won't get it on the 10th, but everything is retro to the start of your contract this year.
Which, isn't that amazing? Because I can tell you multiple times and multiple occasions that we have had contracts where they're like, nope, we're not doing retro. So the fact that this is going back from your beginning of your contract year is a good thing. I mean, I imagine they're going to move pretty quick on this. That's what
I'm thinking that they'll probably get it by the 25th. I would hope. Almost.
Right.
I would almost hope.
Yes.
If not, because I don't think they want to deal with the...
I think they want to close this chapter and move forward. Yeah. And that's really important. And I think that's also very important for, our relationship with Dr. Jara as well. I mean, let's close that chapter of whatever just happened. And that's another thing, is then we'll finally get to release our episode. Yeah. And I'm excited because it was a really good episode.
And we talked, after we talked to Dr. Jara and everything we had talked about, building relationships. And that's still very important. If you haven't, we're still early enough in the school year that it's important enough to do it. Because you got to do it all through the year anyways.
Yes, you do.
So what else shall we talk about? Going into other educational news in Clark County, we recently had, so part of the legislative session this year, CCA was able to get passed into law that each county could approve an additional sales tax in order to fund, it can't be core education things because that causes a disparity, which causes problems with the Constitution, I guess. And so just recently, the Clark County Commission passed the sales tax increase with a 5-2 vote. Basically, the money collected from the 1/8 of 1%,
which is minuscule.
But still, when you consider how much money in the end, it all gets rounded up, anyways. To be used by the county for programs for education, social service programs, including initiatives to reduce truancy and homelessness, as well as funding early childhood, adult, and hospitality workforce education. So what are some of your thoughts on this sales tax there?
Well, to be honest, I was reading a lot about this the last couple of days, and this whole tax increase actually stems back from the bill, Assembly Bill 309, and that was the one that Assembly Speaker Frierson was able to roll out, and we did a lot of work lobbying for that. So what I like about that is, it's, even though it's people. I watched, the rant with John Hook on Fox 5. And, it's funny because you can tell the people who are for education, and, I'm not saying that they're not for education, but there's ones that are on there complaining about, it's just another sales, tax increase. And I honestly believe that our taxes are low enough here where it doesn't make a difference. And you have to remember that it's for the good of the cause. I mean, let's be real. They talked about if you bump that up, what we said, 1/8 of a percent or 1/8 of a cent.
1/8 of 1%.
An 1/8 of 1%. They are expecting it to generate close to $54 million to pay for education. And what I like about this too, to be quite honest, is the way that they're doing this is they're not just, like you said, they're not just going to give the money and be like, here, do whatever you need with it. they're actually making it to be where it's a grant process. So, coming from me, like, I'm like, oh, grants. I know. I've written a lot of grants. I know exactly what what's entailed, and, you have to have the accountability piece, and this is exactly what they're requiring now. So they're actually doing it where you have to apply for the grant, and then you have to justify your work and, where is this money going to be going? And then you also have to list measurable goals, which I thought, you know what, that's really cool, because there's a lot of times in our district that I want to know about the accountability piece. I want to be, probably have like more transparency with our budget in our school district. So I feel like this money that's coming to them, that $54 million potentially, they need to have a measurable goal. They do have to have it be transparent, because, this is money that's coming from the public. So they did say that the commissioners are going to be working from now up until January to try to get an idea and set the priorities of where that money is going to go. And then they said that revenue with the tax is supposed to be collected in April. And they have it set to, like, I guess, expire in 2021.
It's just a short
right
time,
so I think they're trying to test the waters a little bit to see, like, is this gonna work? Is it gonna be something that's gonna be beneficial? But yeah, like you said, it's gonna go some of it to early childhood.
I wonder how much of that has to do with the muni elections, though. Like, are they, oh, look, we got you a tax cut of
yes
8%.
Right, I know. I'm like, come on. But if this works, and, I think that would be really great to have that additional funding come through. It really would be.
And, applying it to things like the early childhood education and things like truancy and absenteeism, we get a lot of heat and a lot of bad rap for Nevada being 50th in education.
Yes, we do.
But it really depends on what metrics you're looking at, because academically we rank up there, like, last I saw it was like the 30s.
Yeah, you and I had talked about that. That's right.
But it's when you include things like the transiency and the level of educational attainment for parents and things of that nature that it starts to tank our rating. So getting kids into pre-K and getting them prepared for when they come to you. Yes. That's gonna do hopefully wonders for the coming generations. Right?
Well, and we had talked with County Commissioner Kirkpatrick. And she had mentioned how much work that she had done with trying to validate and give reasons of why that that pre-K is just so important. And I would be the first to come to her, and tell her absolutely. I can give you an example today. I actually we're studying apples. That's our theme this week, and we had an activity where it involved, we were labeling what apples have, and one of the things they had to do is they had to cut out the different various pieces. And I can tell you about 4 kids that I have in my class that have no idea how to hold scissors. They don't have the fine motor experience, and it's like mind-blowing. Yeah. And I just really, really wish that we had, and it's, to be quite honest, it's the kids that did not have any type of prior schooling.
Although I do want to give your kids some credit, because I'm 33 years old and my fine motor skills are somewhat lacking at times.
Yeah. So look at, now I'm throwing things. Wow, we're violent in here today. It must be a full moon. But and it's one of those things that I feel that this money, if it does go to, obviously there's multiple different things that, like you just said, about the early child education, adult education, and its programs to reduce student truancy, recruiting, and retaining teachers. These are all key components of what we're struggling with right now. I watched the news this morning, and what did I see? They said that we have probably the worst the truancy and the absenteeism. Which,
I have kids, and we're doing in secondary, we're doing count day right now. Today's
tomorrow, right?
Today's mock day, and then tomorrow's the real count, and I'm going. I just realized I didn't turn my papers in, but that's okay, because they're not due till tomorrow.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But anyways, I have to go back through and see, because I have kids that they were there the first day of school and they haven't been back since.
Right.
And
where did they go? Like, when that happens, what happens? Do they go into a new school, or they just completely drop out?
Well, it depends in secondary. There's a lot of reasons.
Wow. Oh, man. That's too bad.
Like I have a kid came to me today and said, I'm sorry I don't have my homework. I have to work. And
oh my goodness.
She's like 15.
That's terrible.
So, and I get, then we all have different situations. And I think we've talked about this before. Like before I became a teacher, I had no idea. Like I thought I was low income and all this kind of stuff. My mom and my brother were, single parent, and we lived in Section 8 housing and all that kind of stuff. And, but I didn't have it nearly as bad as some of the kids that I've encountered, and it's like it's really eye-opening. It's really eye-opening.
It really is, yeah.
What else was I going to talk about?
Can I just say one more thing about that tax thing? And I wanted to also, because we were talking about people, they were very upset with the idea of, some were upset with the idea of another tax increase because they felt like, we're just going to keep taxing and we're going to keep throwing money at a failing school district, and that's just what it's going to be, and it's going to be a never-ending cycle. Well, just to kind of give you an idea about the people that are so concerned about those taxes that are so high that they say, just to kind of put it in perspective. So they were saying with the 1/8 of a cent increase, consumers in our county will pay 1 more cent for every $8 they spend. Mm-hmm. So, and that actually boils down to $37.50 more for like a $30,000 vehicle that you purchase, $1.25 for a $1,000 refrigerator, and a 62.5 cents on a $500 mall shopping spree. It's very, very small.
Yeah, it is.
But the outcomes could be potentially like really, boost our ranks.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not against the sales tax increase or anyway. But I do understand that the sales tax especially is so regressive because it does affect the people that are, they have to go and buy these things.
Of course.
Whereas we have so many opportunities, and I know it's a Constitution thing as well. I know we just keep the Nevada State Constitution built in 1865 said, mining you can pay nothing, and it's
right.
It's so I get so upset about mining not paying enough in taxes.
Right. And especially that's like our commodity here. I mean, that's like our.
Yeah, we're the silver state.
Thank you.
So, right. I mean, it's not like they're going to pick the mountain up and move it to Idaho. I don't know. Oh,
dear goodness.
And we talk about gaming in other places around the country pays upwards of 25%.
Oh, yeah. The one brand new casino that Wynn just built in Massachusetts. We're talking a 25% gaming tax.
Yeah. And we have...
it's like, what, 5 or something? Or 3? Something crazy. Really low.
So there's other opportunities, and hopefully the state will... Mm-hmm. I think I hope that the progressive change is coming, because we realize the way that the state is funded is not a way that the state in the modern 2020
right? Yes.
2019 we can't do it on the backs of I love this is my favorite, because I gotta renew my registration next month.
Oh no!
My $500 car registration.
Oh my
You're
word.
taxing me on my car, because my registration is $30-some, and then you see government
services and fees.
Yeah, 300 and some crazy.
That's funny you say that, because do you want to know? Coming from New York, do you want to know how much it was there? It was like $10. It was crazy cheap. And we I know one of my coworkers is from New Jersey, and he's got his New Jersey license, his teaching license. Yeah.
And New Jersey teaching license, you get it done once.
Oh, you don't have to renew?
No.
It's just there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Because they just raised fees for the teaching renewal license, and your endorsement's $50 a pop too.
Yeah. So I have my registration renewal. I have to get my teaching license renewed by February. Oh, no. So it's like,
got a lot of things coming up.
I know.
Isn't it crazy? As adults, it's like you just never can catch up unless you just have really, really, really good savings abilities, which I do not.
Nope.
I seriously am like a 4-year-old. If I have money in my pocket, it's burning a hole, and I'm like, I have to go buy things.
Yeah. It says the new banner that I purchased.
Yes.
And the car magnets.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. That's
the business cards.
Listen, we're gonna be big time. I love it. It's so wonderful.
It's this, guys. I don't know if you can tell how much fun we have doing this.
We do.
It is a lot of fun. We look forward to scheduling the time to come in and talk, and finding folks to come in and talk. We've talked about it before. We want this to be an advice show for the modern educator. So we really want you guys to start sending us emails,
Please.
send us questions,
Yes.
send us stories. You know, we love to hear stories, and we'll talk about them and say, what would we done in this situation, or how can we make, you know, light of something that
Right.
might seem horrible, but let's see if we can find the brighter side. I know I was reading something on Facebook. One of my friends on Facebook had put, they were talking to their student, and they said something about poofy buns. And her kid said, "Ew." And they said, "What ew?" And they said, "You said poopy butt."
Oh yeah, I know that is. That's Kleeman's wife.
So, you know, how do you deal with that kind of stuff? So send us your emails, send us your questions, send us your stories. We love to hear it. We want to read them. We want to talk about them. It's teachingtodaypodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on, hey, it's been a while since we've done this. We got approved finally. We're on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, rather.
Yep.
You can find us if you look up I don't know exactly how to do it, but if you look up Teaching Today PodClass, okay, you'll be able to find us on Apple Podcasts as well as Google Play Music.
Yes.
So the two big ones were hosted on there as well, but we'll still post all of the links on SoundCloud and all that kind of stuff too. So, you know,
and that goes back to when you're talking about the stories. I mean, this really is a job that you can't do alone. And when you're sending stories and we can, you know, bask in each other's great things like hashtag happy classrooms or hashtag, oh my goodness, my year is crazy. It's just one of those things that it really does help you, you know, just feel that, you know, that camaraderie between all the educators. And I feel that's very important.
So we want to start. We also have a YouTube channel, and I'm plugging all this stuff because I forget it if we don't do it now. So the YouTube channel, we're going to start doing some exclusive stuffs on YouTube. Hopefully in the next couple weeks or so. It's a slog, but you look us up, Teaching Today PodClass on there as well, and you'll find us. We got. Did you watch the intro on it?
I did not. I didn't know there was. Oh no! I heard
the little video, like 30-second video.
Yes.
It's so I'm like, yeah. So you know, we're very excited. What else? So next week, what day did that? Do you remember what day I said that? I think it was the 14th as well. For Senator Pickard.
Oh, Senator Pickard. Yes, Keith Pickard. He is going to be at Claim Jumper. Now, which one is that?
Because I don't know the exact address. I know it's like.
Is it the one in Henderson near Green Valley? Oh, yeah. Okay. So yes,
I think it's like 601 Green Valley.
Yeah, that is the one that is near the district. So right near the 215 in Green Valley.
Okay, yeah, yes. So I know exactly what it is. I used to work at Vegas.com down there, so
okay.
I know that. So I know that area very well.
Yeah. So you know what's cool about that is, you know, you and I had talked about this. That is going to be. What would you say? It was going to be a town hall, right?
Yeah, he's talking about education. He got, during this strike conversation, this potential strike conversation, he had gotten very active on some of the social media stuff that we see and kind of not monitor, but follow.
Yeah.
And he's very concerned about the funding formula and making sure that there's money coming down. So if you want to go kind of voice your opinion and do that, I'm trying to see if I can find a time. I think it was like 4.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a really good experience too. And to be quite honest, he's a really nice guy. When I went up with our union during lobby day, I was actually his guest on the Senate floor. And the conversations that he and I had about, you know, the different, you know, things going on. Yeah.
Republicans for Education Town Hall.
Okay.
It is Saturday, September 14th at 11 a.m. And it's going to be at the Claim Jumper at 601 North Green Valley.
I'd be interested to see how many show up to that. I mean, I feel like I'm going to be there. I'm definitely going to be there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to show up. So as of right now, 4 are going. 29
is this on Facebook? Is that what it is?
29 are interested, and there's been 8 shares. So maybe if there's only 4 to 6 people, he'll buy us lunch.
Hey, well,
We
listen.
can only hope, right? He's a lawyer.
Senator Pickard and I, we're friends on Twitter now, so he follows me.
Give
So I was like, good. So we'll be getting him on the show. I can tell you that.
Okay.
I will.
So
yes.
are you gonna go down there?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna invite
I'll
him
probably
down.
come down too.
Yes, I feel like that would be a good move.
We have lots of plans. I know there's some other stuff we want to talk about here in the near future. We have plans. We've been trying to make headway in getting some national board certified teachers to come in and talk about their experience with the program. We actually we want to do some on location stuff. We want to start sponsoring some events, some meetups, some social activities, because I don't think there's enough of that. I don't feel like after my this is my sixth year teaching, that I know really too many people outside of my building, or too many people outside of my usual cohorts of CCEA folks that are just at everything humanly possible. So be on the lookout. Again, follow us on Facebook if you haven't already, and check it out. So we want to do we were talking about a bunch of different stuff, but
yes, having a nice picnic at Sunset Park when it's not blazing heat out would be an ideal.
We can start Ren Fair.
Ooh, that's fun.
A Ren Fair.
That would be cool.
Interesting. Or haunted house. We could do a haunted house next month.
Yep. I'll never forget my haunted house experience. I was running away from a man with a chainsaw that obviously didn't have the chain on it, but
you never know. You can never be too careful.
Thank you, especially in today's world. But my sister was behind me, and I stopped to check to make sure she was still with me, and she punched me in the side of the head on accident, ripped my earring out. It was so many bad things happened in that 30-second span. I hate being actually I'm not I don't like not it's not that I don't like being scared. I don't like the Jack in the Box. I might have talked about this before, but I can't deal with the pop, the build up.
The build up. It doesn't matter how slow I go on a Jack in the Box.
Yeah, because you just don't know. You just don't know when it's going to happen.
And you get that in it. So I can't. But if you ever seen the Ellen, you ever watch Ellen?
Yes, and that's hilarious when they jump out.
When she sends her producer
to the haunted houses. Yes.
And he whoever he's with, he blocks them and pushes them out. That's how I am. Because if you've never seen a picture of me, I'm 6'1" and
yes,
I'm 280 pounds.
Yes, he is.
And I got this big gruff beard, and I look like I could be a biker, but I'm not.
Right? Yeah, you totally could pass for a biker.
I'm just a big old teddy bear, and so when you go and you watch me, and I scream like a little girl, and so I'm really fun to go to a haunted house with. But
that's
I hate
cool.
I hate going. So anyways.
Well, so what do you think? I mean, I would say as far as our upcoming episodes, what to look out for. Is definitely we're going to be releasing our Jara episode.
Jara is going to come out.
We are going to be having somebody come in to talk about elections that are coming up, which is very important
for CCA members. If you're not a member, guys, really consider joining. Especially now with this
huge win.
Column movements guaranteed for folks who already submitted this year, and
next
whoever
year,
can
if you
submit
can complete
next year. I kind of was hesitant. I'm not gonna lie. I was hesitant. I didn't really do it. I had some incidental stuff. I had taken some college credits to get certified for special ed, and I had taught summer school, and I'm planning on serving on my SOT this year. So all of those. So I'm already at about 100.
Yes,
I'm
you
already
just got to make that push.
CCs.
Didn't finish it because I'm telling you, they're pegging it. They're expecting close to 3,000 next year. What they said.
Yeah, and so if I can get that jump plus the step next year, man, that'll give me some
beautiful.
Nice.
It really would be.
So other upcoming episodes again in the national boards.
Yes.
We're trying to get some folks like Senator Pickard. I can't say it. We have some plans to do things with the Teacher Health Trust, and
that is very important, especially because I would like to know personally, because I don't know the answer. What does this 4% for the next 2 years mean for the THT and for the person who is paying the premiums? What are we looking at?
Well, as far as I understand it, it's not a change in premium.
It's not premiums necessarily. It's
the
that
contribution. So CCSD pays X amount of, I don't know what it is.
Right.
I don't remember. I know it's low.
Yes. Yes.
But they pay X amount of dollars, so they're going to add the X 4%.
Yes.
X plus 4.
You know, and I'll tell you, Mike Skolnick, their CEO, is an incredible person. You know, he's very knowledgeable.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the things is I actually was at an appointment recently where someone had mentioned, one of the physicians, that, Teachers Health Trust, I see they're making a great comeback. So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I should. There's this little thing you might have heard of, Bikegate, a couple weeks ago. You heard this Bikegate?
No.
You didn't hear about Bikegate?
What is that? No, what is it?
Well, there's something about a bike, stationary bike.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
Contractually,
yes,
given
the rider
things.
that he has. Funding.
But and I'll probably catch heat for this, but in Teachers Health Trust, you get $50 for
you
the
get a
reimbursement for either
get a reimbursement.
health, like a health club or a Fitbit, or there's a couple other things you can do. I don't know how utilized that is. I think I'm going to try and utilize it this year.
Yeah. We used it for the gym, so because it was $10 a month.
Yeah.
So and it was nice to kind of have the $50 reimbursement for it.
Yeah,
send you a check,
I know it's not a lot, but it's something, and take
that's
advantage
what's
of it.
important.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And what else? You got anything else you want to talk about?
Nothing for the good of the people right now. I feel like we had some great conversation. Definitely we're able to kind of recap of what's going on with that tax increase and negotiations, and I'm just really happy to be back here with you and chatting, because it's always such a good day when that happens.
Yeah. So yeah, check us out. We'll be posting stuff on the Facebook.
It's a car drive by.
Wow. I don't know if you know how you record. I got some earphones over my ears, and there's just a random vibration coming out of nowhere.
It was a car with a loud exhaust.
Okay. We'll post some things that we want to do, and we'll try and get some community involvement. And we want to. That's the other thing I think that's what I was going to talk about, is doing more on location recording. So
that would be great.
We can get and we'll start a special segment, on location, teaching today on location or something like that. So send us emails, send us letters, send us money. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I've invested heavily in the stock market, just like CCSD has apparently. But send us your questions, send us your stories. Teaching Today podcast.
Please, we would love.
Gmail.
I'm sorry. Yes.
No, you're fine. Teaching Today podcast at gmail.com. And I know it's confusing because we're PodClass, but it's Teaching Today podcast at gmail.com.
Yes. Well, I want to hear some stories. I want to know how your school year is going, because to be quite honest,
my school year is going pretty well.
I'm so happy to hear that, Jeremiah. Mine's got a little bit of a rough start, but it's nothing that I can't overcome. I feel like I'm a pretty strong person.
We shall overcome.
Yes, I'm that. John Anzalone, he can attest to this. I'm that New Yorker that has got a Buffalo girl, and we're tough. I mean, we can survive through minus 32-degree winters with 8 feet of snow. So I got this. It's just something I just got to pretend.
I heard you guys are having a football party in a couple weeks.
Yes,
huh?
we are.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, week 3. It's going to be the Bills home opener. And if you guys don't know, John Anzalone is a big Bills fan, just like I am.
No.
So when we were able to do that episode together, we discovered that we are, what is it? A brother from another mother. So yeah. So he's a little older than I am, but that's okay.
It's all right. That's how it happens. And other than that, hopefully John will come back. I'm sure John will come back on the show.
Yes.
I'm sure. And
it was a great time. I'll make the wings. I know I owe you so much food right now, Jeremiah. I'm so sorry. I need to make a log of this.
My school year is going good. I got some good students. I'm teaching juniors and sophomores this year.
I'm happy to hear that for you. That's really great.
Nobody's thrown an easel at me yet.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. I'm happy to hear that too.
Nobody's snorted narcotic medication in my classroom.
Oh dear goodness, that's terrifying.
So that's all good stuff. So check us out.
Yes, and share with your friends if you feel like they might benefit from just a good laugh. And I know, we normally have a guest on, and we have, but I felt like we just wanted to get back in the saddle on this one and just have a good conversation.
We don't have to have guests. We got
right.
You're
right.
So, anyways,
are we ending class early? This is great. Yes.
We're like a little early.
All right. Well, that's good. How'd that feel? Like usually when, especially when you were in college and they're like, we're going to end a little early tonight.
Yeah. So, thanks to CCEA for allowing us to come in and yak and use equipment that would be way out of our
price range.
It's not actually that expensive, but it's just the technical know-how of setting it up.
Yeah, appreciative of that.
Having a place to do it. So thanks to them. And thanks to all the folks that have followed us on Facebook so far. We are about 250.
Yeah.
And I'm still pushing. Once we get to 300, we'll open up another giveaway. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but we'll get...
it'll be a good one,
It'll be a good one.
So get your friends to follow it, too.
Share our page and like us. Subscribe on Google Play and iTunes.
Well, we just got a like from Dylan Kendrick from Fox 5. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we got to see. I think we need to hit like the news channels, and we got to get this pushed out.
Yes,
we got to get this pushed out.
It's a good show.
We're gonna be on the radio show.
Exactly. Got to get a hold of Juicy from 97.5.
Yeah, we're gonna do the morning drive to school with Kristan and Jeremiah.
Exactly.
Teaching Today podcast, Teaching Today podcast at gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook. Thanks to CCEA. Thanks to Eric.
Yes.
For all of the assistance he provides us. And thanks to you, the listeners, for
making this happen, because without you we wouldn't have this happening.
Yeah, for being our students, so to speak. I don't know.
Yes,
that sounds kind of weird. So anyways, until next time, this has been Jeremiah
and Kristan,
and class is dismissed.
Bye, y'all.